I have been working on it for last 40 years, and I found that people like to pay lip service to his philosophy, but when it comes to practicing it and learning from it, they are not very keen about it because Bapuji was a very forward thinking person. And he started talking about pollution and destruction of environment and all that 100 years ago, when nobody even thought about this. And he practiced it in his ashrams. When we lived with him in the ashrams, we were uh, taught how to be very careful with resources, how to preserve resources, how to take care of things. One story that I like to say every time I talk on this issue is, when I was living with him, one of my duties was to open his mail, his post. He used to get sacks full of uh, letters, and I had to open all of them and stack them up so that he could read them when he had the time. And I was taught to open the envelopes very carefully, not tear them like we do today. Open them carefully so that he could write his replies on the backs of those envelopes and send them back. So, although today when I speak to a lot of children about it and talk to them, they think that this is a crazy idea of doing this. But this is how he was trying to preserve things. We need to be conscious of how wasteful we have become in our habits. I mean, when you look at one simple thing we go to buy, for instance, uh, buy a little earrings for somebody, and it's just two little earrings that are packed in so many different boxes and paper and so much goes into delivering just those two little earrings. And then what do? We take the earrings out and those boxes are thrown into the garbage. The paper is thrown into the garbage. And that kind of wasteful society that we have created. And this is a small example I'm giving you, but there are so many bigger things that we do. Recently, there was a report on Amazon, for instance, how much, how many boxes and paper and cardboard they are using for delivery of goods all over the world. I mean, there are mountains of cardboard. And what happens to them? They all go into the waste and become part of the landfills. And it is this kind of thing that we need to be conscious about. Just being conscious of the environment and wanting to do some patchwork, to save the environment will not help as long as we don't change our habits. And that is what Bapuji was trying to teach us all the time, that we have to change our habits because we have created this kind of lifestyle and society that is on consumption and destruction, based on consumption and destruction. We are constantly consuming things, and the more we consume, the more we destroy. And that, as long as we don't deal with those aspects and make those changes in our live, it's very difficult to save the environment and the ecology. Another example that I can give you of that time, I was 12 years old when I was living with Bapuji, was when he made me go and look for a little pencil that I threw away while coming back home from school. Now, this pencil was about 3 inches long, and I thought to myself, I deserved a better pencil. This is too small for me to use. And so I just threw it away because I was sure that grandfather would give me a new pencil when I asked him for one. But that evening, when I asked Bapuji for a new pencil, instead of giving me one, he subjected me to a lot of questions. He wanted to know how the pencil became small and where did I throw it away and why did I throw it away. And then he made me go out and look for it. And I felt very silly looking for a little pencil in the evening and people asking me, what are you looking for? Did you lose something precious? And when I tell them I was looking for a little pencil, they all laughed at me. And, then I found the pencil and brought it back to Bapuji. And that is when Bapuji explained to me the connection between the waste that we indulge in. He said the making of even a simple thing like a pencil, we use a lot of the world's natural resources. And when we throw them away, we are throwing away the world's natural resources. And that is violence against nature. Is that because we waste in an affluent society, we can afford to buy all these things in bulk. We overconsume the resources of the world. And because we overconsume them, we are depriving people elsewhere of these resources, and they have to live in poverty. And that is violence against humanity. And that was the first time I realized that even these little things that we do to waste things and throw away things uh, are forms of violence. And that violence leads to not only violence against human beings, but violence against nature and ecology and environment. So, to make me understand this lesson properly, he made me draw a genealogical tree of violence, just as we do a family tree, with violence as the grandparent, and physical violence and passive violence as the two branches. And every day before I went to bed, I had to analyze and examine everything that happened during the day and put them down on that tree. Now, if it's physical violence, the kind of violence where we use physical force against one another, fighting and killing and beating and all of these things that we do, then that would be physical violence. You'll have to excuse me. There's somebody at the door. I have to go and open the door for them. I'll be back
Okay,
in a
okay,
few minutes.
okay, okay. Came to work this morning. Yeah, I came to work this morning. I said, well, dude, how come Mr. Garden stuff is still sitting here? Right. Put this here. So, yeah. You have a great day.
I'm sorry. These are the hazards of living alone.
Yeah.
If somebody comes to the door, you have to go and open the door. So, as I was saying, um, that exercise that he made me draw a family tree of violence revealed to me the existence of passive violence. When we talk about violence, we think more about physical violence, about fighting and killing and beatings and that kind of thing. But we never think of violence as passive violence, that we can do violence to each other without using any physical force. Sometimes we don't even uh, see the person or know the person. And yet, our actions and inactions have a result on them, have some impact on their lives. And usually, that passive violence is a negative impact on their life. So, when we see today the disparities that are growing between people, especially economic disparities and social and cultural and all of those disparities that are growing and dividing the people all over the world. That is a form of passive violence that we are all responsible for. And if we don't look at those things and don't correct those things, then we will never be able to achieve peace in this world. Peace is not the absence of fighting, it's not the absence of war. Peace is creating harmony in society. And the only way we can create harmony in society is through compassion. If we don't have compassion for each other and feel the pain for each other, then we will never be able to create that peace. So, these are aspects of what Bapuji was trying to teach us all the time, and we have not yet learned the lessons because I think a lot of the scholars who have studied Bapuji and studied his writing have focused only on one aspect of his life, only on non-violence as absence of war. And that is why we have gotten the impression that as long as we are not fighting with each other, our nation is not at war with each other, we are living in peace. But no society in this world today, in the kind of world that we have created today, is living in peace. There's a lot of strife in society, and even if that strife doesn't reflect itself in form of violence in those societies, there is a lot of disparities and unhappiness and the absence of harmony. And when there is an absence of harmony, there can be no peace and there can be no unity. So these things are important for all of us to know about and learn. So it's, I think when you do these lessons, when you talk about Gandhiji's philosophy, I would like you to think about all of these aspects of his philosophy and not just go dogmatically by his writing. I think the important thing in trying to understand his writings and his message is to be able to read between the lines. Sorry, am I getting I think there's something wrong.
No, it's okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Sir,
I can hear you.
you're
We
Can
can
you
audible.
hear
hear
you.
me?
Yes, we can hear you.
You're audible, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. You're
Yes,
audible.
Hello?
Hello, sir.
yes,
Can
you
Sir,
you
are
you're
hear me?
audible.
audible, sir. We can
You
hear
can.
you.
We can hear you.
Sir, you're audible, sir. We can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, I thought I
Yes.
lost you. Yeah, so as I was saying, the important thing about Gandhiji's message and his writings is for us to be able to read between the lines. You know, there's more to understand in his writings between the lines than what he has put down on paper. So that, you know, we have to cultivate that kind of mindset to understand his philosophy and you know, be able to incorporate that in our own lives. So these are a few words that I would like to share with you and encourage you to study his writings and his message with that mindset of not only learning about his philosophy, but also making it a part of our own lives and changing our lives and changing through us, changing the world. Because the world will not change until we change. And so it's important for each one of us to become the change that we wish to see in the world. So with these few words, I wish you all success in your course, and I hope that you will be able to learn and understand Bapuji's philosophy better. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Arun Gandhiji. We assure you that the Society for Empowerment is not only trying to read Gandhiji through books and through his writings, but we are equally trying to do some experiment in Champaran in real situation, because there is a tribe called Karu, among whom Gandhiji lived during his stay in Champaran. So we are trying to involve them and educate them about the activities of Gandhiji's, and they themselves have, you see, have created a
Hello.
school. They have created a school in which all the Tharu women are coming and they are sharing the
Satyendraji?
songs. They are sharing the songs which is on Gandhiji, which they have written in on Gandhiji, and they sing that occasionally whenever there is social occasion or whenever there
Hello?
is education. Yeah, can you hear?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
I am done now. Thank you.
Can you
He's
can you
done.
hear?
That's what he said.
Oh, you want to leave?
Yes, probably. Yes.
Okay. So they are singing the songs which are on Gandhiji, and they have practically they are
Hello,
practicing all.
Satyendraji.
Can you want to leave? Hello.
Sir, do you want to leave?
उनके पास आवाज नहीं जा रहा है लगता है. स्वयं सिद्धा देखो.
Hello?
Sir, do you want to leave? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible, sir. Yes, Mr. Gandhi, you're audible.
You are audible.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Hello.
Please allow, sir. You can speak, sir.
Sachinder ji?
Yes. मैं आपको सुन रहा हूँ. I am listening you.
I can't hear anybody.
Oh, you can't hear. Oh, that's the problem. स्वयं सिद्धा
Yes, sir.
क्या आवाज नहीं जा रही है उनके पास? मेरी
पता नहीं
आवाज
क्यों नहीं जा
तुम्हारे
रही.
पास?
सबकी आवाज जा तो रही है. सब लोग ऑडिबल है. यहाँ पे कोई म्यूट नहीं है.
Hello, I can't hear anybody.
Oh, you can't hear. स्वयं सिद्धा, please check.
He's not mute. He can hear everybody. उनको कौन सा म्यूट रखा है? वो सबको सुन पाएंगे. सब लोग.
गंगाधर जी, आपको आवाज मिल रही है? प्रोफेसर गंगाधर.
Yeah, I can hear, sir. I can hear, sir.
Now I hear you.
You can hear.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Ah.
Okay. What I was saying that Society for Empowerment
So
is not only.
I finished my talk. I said,
Yes, you said that you finished your talk. You want to say something? That you are most welcome. You want to continue?
again, everybody has disappeared.
No. Everybody is here.
I think there
Everybody
is
is
some
here,
technical
sir.
problem.
Some technical glitch is there, I think.
Yeah,
everybody
I
is
hear bits and pieces of your conversation.
Okay, let me be a bit louder. Can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me, Mr. Gandhi, sir?
No, he is not listening. Our voice is not reaching to him.
Oh God.
क्या हो सकता
You
क्या हो
can see
सकता
So
है?
I
glitch.
wish you all of you good luck in your studies, and I hope something good will come out of it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are listening your voice. We are listening you. Are you listening us? Is our voice going to you or not?
Okay?
Mostly our voice is not audible for him, sir.
Okay.
No, I can't. Just bits and pieces are coming through.
Oh, there is some technical problem. Swam Siddha, what's the problem?
Sir, there is no such problem that I can find right now. Currently, I don't find any problem. I don't understand why there's no problem, but still there's a glitch there.
I think I'll have to leave now.
Okay.
Sir,
Okay,
why don't you
Okay,
relog
sir.
in?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Swayam Siddha, I think our voice is not audible for Gandhi, sir.
I think
That
so.
is the problem.
I think so.
Yes.
What he said is that he said his some experiences with Gandhi ji. The first was about the envelope which he used to open for Gandhi ji. All the letters which were coming for Gandhi ji, he used to open, and he has to open it very cautiously and carefully. because on the back of the letter and envelope, he used to write the answer. Gandhiji used to write the answer. So he was very careful about that there should not be any wastage, not wastage of any paper or wastage of any food or anything like that. So he maintained it throughout his life. But what we are doing or what the younger generation is doing is that we are not caring for the wastage of not only of paper or books, but of food, of policy, and all such things he mentioned about that. So we should be very careful in our activities. If we want to follow Gandhiji, we should be very careful, and the world can prosper, the country can prosper, anybody can prosper only when he walks on the advice of Gandhiji. That's what he said, and he said that we should not practice this only in this webinar or only in writing our books or articles, but we should practice it in our day-to-day life also. Only then we can be very much Gandhian. We can be follower of Gandhiji. So this is what he said. I just summarized his speech because this is what he said. And now I welcome our patron, Dr. A.K. Pandey. Generally, he used to be very prompt, but today Arun Gandhiji was a little early. He said that he will be coming late, but he came early. And also to Professor M.R. Gangadhar, and then we have Professor Anil Kumar Prasad. He is a professor of English in Ethiopia, but he is very much fond of Gandhiji, and he is a committed Gandhian, and so he wanted to be with us during this program. So I welcome him also. And there is Dr. Chandrakala. Dr. Chandrakala from
Chandrika. Dr. Chandrika.
Dr. Chandrika from
Dr. Chandrika.
Oh, sorry.
Dr. Chandrika Talari. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am here, sir.
Dr. Chandrika.
You can on your video, Chandrika.
Chandrika Palmari from, she's from which university?
Andhra Pradesh.
Andhra Pradesh. She's from
Andhra
Pradesh. So she's most welcome.
SV University, Andhra Pradesh.
You all are most welcome. This time we have very few participants, but since this is the beginning, this is the second program of the series. So I thought that let us go with the 2% only, no problem, because it is quality matters. Not that if we bring 1,000 people, we may not be sure of them being Gandhian or interested in listening Gandhian philosophy. So we thought that we will go only with 2, and maybe in coming days we may grow, the number may grow, and the program, our program will be more popular. So with this, I welcome you all here, and today's the inaugural address is over. Now I request Professor M.R. Gangadhar, Chairman of Anthropology of Mysore University, for his address to us.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening to one and all. Respected Professor S. Narayan sir, Chairman, Society for Empowerment. In his absence, Dr. Arun Gandhi, Peace Ambassador of UNO, very senior IAS officer, Dr. A.K. Pandey, Swayam Siddha Das, coordinator of this program, and Professor Anil Kumar Prasad, Chandrika, and others. So, invitees and participants. It is indeed my privilege to be a part of this program. At the outset, let me congratulate Professor S. Narayan for successfully completion of first batch of the program and started a second batch on pollution, public health, Gandhiji. As we all know, our Gandhiji has made several important statements. I would like to quote, "The earth has enough resources for our need, but not for our greed." Uh, Population explosion, mass poverty, overutilization of renewable resources, overuse of fertilizers leads to water pollution. And rapid industrialization, global warming, desert formation, deforestation, emission of harmful substances will cause air pollution. Industrial and synthetic waste and nuclear hazards that are more man-made in nature are all causing irreparable damages to our planet. Many of these problems are attributed to uncontrolled industrialization. The air pollution has resulted a wide spectrum of morbid conditions such as acute respiratory and eye-related problems to chronic respiratory cardiovascular morbidities, cancer, so on and so forth. Gandhiji has had cautioned the world much before any modern day environmentalist about the problems of large scale industrialization which are confronting today. Gandhiji visualized that mechanization will not only lead to industrialization, to mass urbanization, to unemployment, but will lead to destruction of the environment. His seminal work, Hind Swaraj, written 100 years ago, more than 100 years ago, it was in 1909, warned the dangers the world is facing today in the form of environmental destruction and the threat to the planet. Gandhian idea became still more relevant when sustainable growth and development is to be achieved because he emphasized on production by masses instead of mass production. According to him, this will result in the development of an economic system that can minimize environmental degradation and achieve sustainable development. His idea of Swaraj or self-rule enables a practice, sustainable development that can be implemented without compromising the quality of life. Gandhiji was influenced by Jainism, which looks at nature as a living entity and exhorts human being to continually purity themselves by representing deserve life form. The Gandhian ideas of Satya and Ahimsa can be useful to reduce greed of the individual and the society. His concept of non-violence thus encompassed all living beings and embedded the eternal values of life in his thoughts and action. He insisted on the eternal scaredness of life that included a tree, plant, or a cow. For example, reportedly, the English historian Edward Thomas once remarked to Gandhi that wildlife was rapidly declining in India, to which Gandhi replied with a sarcasm. Wildlife is decreasing in the jungles but increasing in the towns. According to him, restless and limitless pursuit of industrialization by all nations has posed a serious problem. for the very existence of not only man, but also all living creature and all kinds of species on our planet. The concept of Sarvodaya is also similar uh, to that of sustainable development and forms a part of environmental ethics. Gandhiji's vision of Sarvodaya implies a healthy development and environment that can be evolved by man to ensure harmonious existence with nature and other living beings. Gandhiji did not recognize separate rule for separate spheres of human life, but saw all spheres in an integrated manner, which exemplaries but best the human ecological perspective. What he preached and practiced corresponds to what we today call eco-friendly measures and living in harmony with nature. Thus, to conclude, India is facing the harmful effects of urbanization that Gandhiji envisioned decades back, and application of Gandhian principle can still can stall the further process of this effect. This type of programs is the need of the hour because we have to encourage and train the youngsters so that, and also we have to teach the Gandhian concept so that they learn and they should practice. So I am confident that the aim of the program to comprehensively influence the youngsters, the younger generation. With this, once again, I express sincere thanks to all the participants and the organizer for giving me this chance to share my views. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to request Professor Anil Prasad ji if he wants to say something. Professor Anil Prasad ji, would you like to
Yes.
share?
Okay. Thank you very much for inviting me to say something. I just would like to correct a little bit about regarding my introduction of yours. That I was a teacher not in Ethiopia, but I was teaching in Yemen and Libya and Saudi Arabia. My last destination was Saudi Arabia, which I resigned in 2018 and relocated to Patna, and that's uh, I, I would like to say that this is a very important program, and I thought that I will get benefit, and I feel that I will have lots of benefits regarding the perspective of Gandhiji, and I will learn a lot from the talks. For example, just now I got some information regarding the vision of Gandhiji and his concept of Sarvodaya and his ecological perspective, and I got things which we have already knew uh, about Gandhiji when Dr. Arun Gandhiji talked about the use of envelope and pencils, and still some of my colleagues use pencils very carefully, and they follow Gandhiji. And it was very interesting to know that violence is not only the physical violence but also uh, passive, and peace is essence of war. And I would like to add that it is not only a matter of compassion, but today what world needs is empathy.
Yes.
Empathy. We have to practice empathy. We have to learn to to be at one with the people who are suffering, the people who are physically challenged, the people who are socially disadvantaged, and that is the need of the hour in the world. That we need to empathize with one another, So this is very important from the point of view of Gandhiji, that is the Gandhian vision, one has to take into account. And that's what I wish to say.
Thank you, sir. Swayam Siddha, sir, there is some connectivity problem for Narayan sir.
Narayan sir suddenly left
No.
the studio. I don't know why. He left
No.
the studio. I don't know why. Let me.
Maybe some technical
I
problem.
request Dr. A.K. Pandey sir to say something.
I can say, but 2 minutes he will take, Mr. Narayan. But anyway,
Okay, sir.
we are midway, so Dr. Chandrika can continue her deliberation.
Chandrika, you can introduce yourself, Chandrika.
Unmute, please.
Unmute.
Yes, sir.
You
Hello.
can introduce yourself.
Okay, sir. I'm
Yes, you
Dr.
are
Chandrika
audible.
Talari. I'm Dr. Chandrika Talari, postdoctoral fellow, Sri Venkateshwara University, Tirupati, sir.
Yes.
Hello.
Okay,
Can you hear
thank
me?
you, Chandrika.
Yes, you're audible. Dr. Chandrika, you're audible.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
I think there is some technical problem. That's why today a lot of connectivity problem.
Hello.
Dr. Chandrika, you can start your deliberation. We welcome you in the webinar.
She is the participant, sir. She is.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Oh. So, any questions in between, if they have come to your mind, or comments? No.
I think there is some connectivity problem for Narayan sir.
I'll talk to him now. Do you want to say something, Dr. Chandrika?
She's telling no.
Okay.
Dr. Chandrika, please unmute yourself. I request you to unmute yourself.
Yes.
Yes, you're audible. Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, Pandey sir can tell something and we can.
Okay. We can proceed now. Just because Narayan had some urgent call, so he took a leave for 2-3 minutes. And we were at the point of Gandhi Ahimsa as understood by us and as understood by Sri Arun Gandhi. Definitely, Dr. Arun Gandhi had been close to him, and whatever he says, it is beyond doubt and beyond discussion. What he said is the difference between non-violence as we think. Our view about non-violence in general is that we will not hurt anybody, we will not put anybody to pain, and we will not snatch something from somebody who is legal proper owner of that. That is our limited view of non-violence. Now, what happens in society that these views are different for different people, because the other person says that whatever you are doing is harming me. Now, this harm can be done by many ways. As he pointed out, that when we start using natural resources beyond our need, just because we possess them, that is also some sort of violence against its last users. The example is said was pencil, because he could use the pencil only 90% or 80%, throw away 20%, though we know that it can be used still. So that 20% extra we are using is being snatched by somebody who is not near to me, but somewhere else. A similar example was given by Ratan Tata. I remember that, I quote it for your use, for your consumption. He had been in a hotel at Germany, and he saw many people eating there, ordering food, and found that nobody is leaving anything in the plate. Then he also ordered something, but he could not eat all that. Then in the last, he was paying the bill, and people, and then a nearby old lady came to him. She asked, why you ordered what you cannot eat? He said that that was my guess. So, but I am paying for the whole food, even for this which I could not eat. So her answer was that it's okay that you paid the money and acquired that food, but that belongs to community, and you have no right to throw it away like that. Had you not done this, it could have been utilized by somebody who is more needed. Now, that is the extended version of non-violence, what was in Gandhi's mind. Because whenever another person who doesn't have food gets irritated by you throwing the food away, taking it and not utilizing it, and that starts hatred in his mind. I personally also feel that whenever I use extra water in the bathroom for taking bath or toothpaste or other thing, then whatever I don't utilize, I feel sometimes guilty for that. That because that is clean water. In villages, people don't get drinking water of that purity for their life. And we are wasting, not using even for washing the hand. And just because we have got pump, we can suck water from our stress, and we just keep on wasting that. Now, for harmony, that is the consideration we should have, not to the others, but to the whole society, that whenever we are overutilizing forest, whenever we are overutilizing house or wasting electricity or anything, then we are misusing those things, and we could have saved it. Now, it's fine to say it in lecture, talking to this, but definitely difficult to practice, because Mahatma Gandhi could practice it, because he could demonstrate that he can live in that much cloth which he can weave. He can live with that much food, he can cook and produce. So that's why he was a great leader of the times. And that's why people followed him. Even the poorest person didn't find any fear or any hesitation in communicating with him. And even the biggest person, like King of UK in those times, they were afraid to talk to him because of the truth associated with him, and that was the power and authority with truth and non-violence which we exercised in Indian context and led to the freedom of India. Mr. Gangadhar, somehow summing up was at my side, but because Mr. Narayan is not there, it seems 10-15 minutes he has not come. I would like to have your suggestion. Means anything else we can add before 7:30, or we wait somehow. Professor Gangadhar, I need
sir.
your. If you have to, you can sum up anything or whatever. Anybody else has to add something, it will be welcome.
I think Narayan sir is busy with some urgent call.
But in 4 or 5 minutes you can sum up the things till he comes.
Yeah. Okay. So in this type of programs will definitely will helpful for the younger generation. Even for example, hello.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
So this type of workshops are very essential, and also we have to encourage the youngsters and guide them. Narayan sir joined.
Yeah, there was some problem, technical problem. I'm unable to understand what was that problem, but somehow I got just now. So, so I'm thankful to you, Professor Gangadharji. It was your initiation and your support that we started the first program, and now we have entered to the second program, and we have got 2 participants. So hopefully we will complete it also.
Yes, sir.
Now, from tomorrow, our other programs will go. And now
sir.
I will request our patron, Dr. A.K. Pandeyji, to give the concluding remark of today's inaugural program.
Thank you, Narayan Saab. Actually, when you were not on the net, then I
Yeah.
took a little time
I see.
to sum up things, and the main conclusion of that was the meaning of non-violence as we understand with our selfish minds, and the actual meaning of non-violence as Mr. Gandhi it related. That is, even when we use resources beyond our need, that is also violence to somebody because it gives lack of resource to somebody else, though it is not physical attack, not snatching somebody, not abusing anybody, but practically he is put to loss to some of his rightful resources. The example was what he said about the pencil, about cutting trees, about environment, and also what we thought I added it by the Ratan Tata taking food in a German hotel where he was actually fined for not eating whatever he had ordered. The idea being that why you are, though you have money to buy these resources, but the resources belong to the society as a whole, and you have no right to snatch it from distribution to somebody who needs it more. And there is a law. So the law cannot be made for everybody this way, but the principle of non-violence, if it is practiced like that, then it will evolve into better harmony between people, societies, and different groups of society. If they practice non-violence in this meaning, that use only that much resources. So that is what we felt um, pertinent to today's topic also, and to our course also, how to understand it. So thank you. I think not more I could know. That is all I felt like.
In my life, as well.
And I have practiced for. Narayan sir,
Thank you, sir.
because you have come, you can
Ah,
conclude.
today, due to this technical problem,
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Sir, please rejoin, sir.
please, now, can we conclude now?
Okay, sir.
I think that we should conclude now for today's
Yeah.
program. And
Yes, sir.
Arun Gandhi is perhaps not that well, so I have to just manage some people for him in US. So
Okay.
let us be close here, and
Yes, sir.
we'll meet tomorrow. Next program,
Okay, sir.
next day.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
sir.
you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you, sir.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
हार्ट अटैक हो गया होगा बोलते बोलते बोले आई एम डन का मतलब होता है कि प्रॉब्लम हो गया बहुत अच्छा से